today we are going to be learning about the collections module in Python. So if you're not familiar with modules, don't worry, I will be putting a video that I've made about modules, and you can watch it and then you can continue on to this video once you have watched that video, okay? And also, just to know, I will be using Jupyter Notebook. So, you can also watch the video on Jupyter, how to install Jupyter Notebook if you like. But let's actually start learning. Okay, so I'm just gonna hop onto my Jupyter Notebook. Here I am. So here's my practice notebook. So here it says collections module in Python. Now the collections module is a built-in module, so you don't need to install it or anything. And it's basically like all of those built-in methods in Python. So let's say we've got a list. Let's say L is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let me just put a comma there. There you go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And let me just space it out. And let's say we use the count function. So if I say L dot count, so it should come up. L dot count. I want to count how many times 2 comes up. It'll give me 1, okay? So basically, the collections module has more advanced methods, and they are a bit more easier and clearer to use. Okay, they can be used on dictionaries, lists, and tuples, and all of those other objects and data structures that we have learnt about. So, the first one is the counter. In the collections module, there's a class called counter, and we're going to be using that right now. So first, you need to say from collections import counter. Now notice I put in a capital letter here. This is because Python is case sensitive, so you need to put in a capital letter. So first, let's try using the counter method with the counter function actually with list. So I'm going to say lst, so a list. I'm just going to put in a bunch of random letters. So 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Okay, so you've got a very, very long list. And how do we use this function? Well, it's like a normal function call. But remember, you need to put in a capital letter here, and you need to put in your list. So I'm going to put in lst, and notice it's given us a tuple. So it's given us a tuple, but there's a dictionary inside this tuple, and as you can see, it says 1, 1, 2, 7, 3, 5, 5, 4, 5, 5, 4, 6, and 5. Now, you may be wondering, what does this mean? Well, basically, what counter function is trying to tell us is there is one number, there is 1 of the number 1, 7 of the number 2, 5 of the number 3, 5 of the number 4, 4 of the number 5, and 5 of the number 6. Okay, so as I told you, it's more advanced and it's more easier. Okay, so you don't need to put in anything else. You just need to put in counter, and then all you need to do is put in your list, and it'll give you a nice clear answer. Okay, so it'll give you a very clear answer. So let me just insert a cell above that actually, and in here I'm gonna write in. So I'm just gonna write in some markdown. I'm gonna write in counter with list, because now we're going to be using strings. So again, in markdown, I'm going to write in counter with strings. Okay, So as I told you, we're going to be doing counter with strings. So all you need to do is you don't actually need to make a variable to store that string in. All you can do is you can say counter and then put in your string directly. It's really easy. So I'm just going to put in random letters. Okay, so here's my very random string. And if I run this, it says counter, and it's giving me a nice organized dictionary again. So there is 6 of the letter A, 2 of the letter B, 3 of the letter C, 1 of the letter D, 3 of the letter E, so on and so forth. And also, what you can do is you can also do counter with words in a sentence. Okay, so this only works if you actually have proper words. Okay, so counter doesn't know how to separate words, so you need to make sure those words come clearly. Okay, so what I'm going to say is I am going to say s, so my string is equal to my string is equal to how many times does each word show up in this string made of words. Okay, so again, it's not got many of each letter of each word, but it's quite okay. So now I'm going to say words is equal to s dot split, because as I told you before, counter does not know what words are, so we need to split it for it so that it can understand. And then we need to put in counter, so remember capital letter, and pass in words. Okay, so not s, words. So now it's telling us how many times each one comes up. So after this, if I put in hello, actually, hello, hello, hello. So I'm just doing it for the sake of not only ones coming up. So if I do that, okay, so this time I got hello 3 times. So I know that doesn't make sense, but don't worry about it. I just did it for demonstration. So as you can see, it gives us how many of each letter. So how many of each word, letter, or element in a list. So now we can actually use some methods in counter. Okay, so in our counter class. Okay, so first we can say C is equal to counter, counter, and then we need to pass in words. So remember, we're not running it, we're going to pass in words. And now we're going to operate on our variable C. So I'm going to say C dot most. It should come up because I pressed tab. So it didn't come up, so I'm just going to put in most common. Now this one will calculate the most common. And then you pass in a number. So I'm going to put in 2. Whoops, let me just spell that correctly. So most common, so I put in 3 M's. So it's saying hello 3 and how 1. So basically this parameter over here is this parameter is like how many pairs of most common words do you want? So I asked for 2, so it gave me the most common. So this is hello, and it gave me the second most common, and that's how. But normally, if we just run this again, it's gonna still give me how for some reason. So some now there's like this method called default dict. Now obviously this operates on a dictionary. So right before here, I'm just going to insert a cell above. Sorry if I put in loads of markdown text. It's just for the sake of being organized. So I'm going to call this counter. Okay, so there you go. There we go. So now, as I told you, we're going to be using we are going to be using default dict. Okay, so this is like this works well, or this works on dictionaries, and it provides all methods provided by a dictionary, but it takes a first takes a first argument, so whatever first argument that you put as basically a default data type for the dictionary. So it's basically easier than having to add manually. And if this seems confusing, don't worry, you'll see what this does. And also a note: default dict will never raise a key error if you put in a unspecified key. So first we need to import it. So what I'm going to say is from collections import default dict. Okay, because that's what it's called. And first I want to just show you a few pros and cons with normal dictionaries and with default dict. So if I say my dictionary is equal to empty, and I say D, and then I want to reference to the key 1, which is obviously not in a dictionary, I get a key error. Now default dict will raise this, but now if we say D is equal to default, let me just type this, D is equal to default dict, and then we need to put in object. So this will basically like know that this is a object, so that our default dict is a object. So we just need to put that in so our Python interpreter knows that. So now if I say D is equal to, and then I try to reference to the key 1, I don't get any error. Okay, so let me just refresh my kernel. So restart. Okay, so if I just say this, whoops, I just need to run this again. There we go. So it's if I run this, it won't obviously give something. It won't give anything. It will just say nothing. So for now, if I want to print out all my items, you might be surprised by the result. So I'm going to say for item in D, I want to print each item in D. So print item. Okay, and it's going to give me 1. So basically what default dict is, basically it didn't raise a key error, but it added this for us. Okay, so it added it nice and quickly instead of manually having to do that by your own. So that is why if you don't raise a key error without actually adding the thing, it will obviously still raise a key error. So default dict adds it for us, so it doesn't raise it doesn't raise a key error. Okay. So now there is also something in our collections module called ordered dict. Okay, so the name you guys may think this means an ordered dict, but it's similar. So basically it's a dictionary subclass and it remembers the order in which its contents are. So let's say you put in some contents. So let's say D is equal to A. So that's our key. So obviously when you put in curly braces. So we could say A, and then 1, B, and then 2. Okay, so basically it will now remember this order. So let me just take that away. So basically we don't need to actually import that because we have already got default dict. So basically it's just going to import that automatically. So what we can do is we need to print. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start experimenting with a normal dictionary, and then I'll go into ordered dict. So let's actually experiment with a normal dictionary first. So if I say print, so I'm just going to print normal dictionary, so we know it's a normal dictionary. And then I'm going to say D is equal to a set of empty curly braces. And now I just want to add a few more keys and values. So I'm going to say D A is equal to A, D B is equal to B, and then whoops, let's just take this and move it here. There we go. And basically we can just copy that a few times, so maybe 3 more times. You can do it how many times you like, but actually I'm just going to do it 5 times so you can get all the letters up to F. So obviously it's C. So I'm going to do all the lowercase letters, C, D, E, and then C, D, and E. So we've done that now. So now I want to print out all the keys and values in d.items. So basically, I want to print out all the keys and values. So I'm going to say for kv, so key and value in d.items. Whoops, let's spell that correctly. I want to print each key and value. Okay, so now it's gonna say normal dictionary A, B, B, C, C, D, D, E, E. So A is our key, and then the capital A is our value, so on and so forth. So now, if we look at an ordered dictionary, we obviously need to import it. So sorry if I confused you there, but here is a normal dictionary, so you don't need to import anything, but this is now a ordered dictionary. So if I say from collections, import ordered dict, so I want to import that. And now I'm going to experiment with an ordered dictionary. So what I'm going to say is I want to print actually, what should we print? Let's print ordered dict, so we know that it's an ordered dictionary. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to say D is equal to ordered dict, so we need to put brackets after that. That's important. And now if I just copy this because I want to add these to my ordered dict, now what our ordered dictionary is going to do is it's gonna memorize all of that. So let's just print out all the keys and values so we know. So you can say for kv in d.items, we want to print out each key and value. So we get ordered dict and we get all our keys and values. So now we want to know about we're going to learn about equality with an ordered dictionary. Okay, so what I mean is basically a regular dictionary looks at all its context when testing for equality. So basically, if we had a dictionary that had A as its first key, B as its second key, and then we had another dictionary with B as its first key and A as its second key, then basically what it's going to do is it's going to say both of them are the same because they both have the same contents, but just in different order. But the ordered dict considers the way the items were ordered. Okay, so let's look at a normal dictionary. So I just want to print my theory here. Print dictionaries are equal and some question marks just to know it's a question. And now I'm going to say D1 is equal to curly braces. So an empty dictionary and then I'm gonna say D1, and I want to add A. This is equal to a capital A, and then I'm gonna say D1. I want to add in B, and this is equal to a capital B. Okay, so we've put in AB. So now we're gonna create a second dictionary. So if I just copy that, and I'm gonna call this D2. So if I just rename this, and I'm going to change the order around here, so I'm going to say B, and then I'm going to say A, and here I'm going to say A, and then I'm going to say B. Okay, so I've got my two ordered dictionaries, but that have the same contents, but in a different order. So I'm going to say print D1 is equal to D2. I'm going to be using comparison operators here. So this will create a boolean. So two double equals and then your variables. So it says dictionaries are equal. It's saying it is true because they both have the same content. Okay, so it doesn't consider the fact that they are ordered differently. It's just considering the fact that they are that they have the same content. So what we can do is we're going to experiment with an ordered dictionary. So all we need to do is copy that, and instead of putting curly braces, I'm just going to put in ordered dict and brackets. Okay, so remember the brackets. I can just copy that again. And now it's saying dictionaries are equal. It's saying it's false because, as I told you, an ordered dictionary looks at the order. It looks at the order and the contents. Okay, so it will look at the content. So if it's the same, it will then look at the order. Okay. So now we have learned about ordered dictionary. We are going to learn about the named tuple. Okay, so it doesn't have a capital letter, so tuple. And this is so let's say so first I want to experiment with a normal tuple. So I'm going to say T is equal to 12, 13, 14. And as you know, we can use indexing to index to a numerical value in a tuple or a string value. Doesn't matter. So I'm gonna say T, and then you need to put in the index 0. So there's 12 at index 0 because it's the first one. Okay, so for simple cases, this is usually enough. We can just do normal, we can just do some very normal indexing. It's very simple, but it's quite hard to remember what index goes to which value. Okay, so this is what name tuple does. It assigns names to each index, so it's more easier to refer to. Okay, so basically, you can think of name tuples as a very quick way of creating a new object or class type with maybe some attribute fields. So let's say it's like a class, except it's a tuple. Okay, weird. So what we're going to do is I'm going to say from collections import named tuple. Okay, so obviously we need to import it. So I'm going to say dog, so that's just my variable, is equal to named. So let me just capitalize it here. Named tuple, because we want to identify it as a named tuple object. So I'm going to put in name tuple, then brackets, and this is where we assign our names. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in dog, and also I'm going to put in another string, age, breed, name. Now you may be thinking, what is going on here? Why are you putting it like that? Well, basically the first variable the first variable basically assigns to like your name tuple, so the name of your name tuple, and then the second string is all the attributes. Let's call them attributes of our name tuple, and we need to separate them with a space. So if you put in a name tuple that has if you put in a attribute that has a space in it, just replace it with an underscore. Okay, so now I have put in my name tuple and all my attributes. Let's just call them attributes for now. And the name of my name tuple, what I'm going to do is I'm going to define two variables. So I'm going to say Sam. So basically the name of a dog is equal to dog. So my dog, so we made a dog tuple. I'm gonna say age is equal to 2. Breed is equal to, let's say we've got a lab, okay. And then we could say name is equal to Sammy. Okay, so very nice dog. And then I'm gonna create another variable called Frank. I'm gonna say Frank is, let me just take that away. Frank is equal to dog. So again, we want to use our dog name tuple, and I'm gonna say age is equal to let's say this one's 3 this time. Breed is equal to husky. So let's just put a capital letter here. Breed is a husky, and the name is equal to Frankie. Okay, so we've got our 2 dogs here. And now we want to actually call our name tuple. So if we just run this, if I call Sam, we get dog, and then we get age is equal to 2, breed is equal to lab, name is equal to Sammy. But we can also refer to certain names in our name tuple. So I could say Sam.age. So basically it's basically like a class but tuple. Okay, so if we say Sam.age, it gives us a nice 2. We could say Sam.breed, and we get a lab, we get Sam, and then we index 0, we get 2 because that is the first value at index 0. We could also try this with Frank. So if I say Frank, we get dog, age 3, the breed is husky, and the name is Frankie. I could say Frank dot age. Okay, I get 3, good. Frank dot breed, I get husky, and then if I say Frank dot name, and then I get Frankie. Okay, so and also if we say Frank dot, let's go to index 2. Whoops, sorry, no, you don't need a dot there. We do that, we get Frankie because that is the last one, and that's at index 2. So basically, these are all of the useful things in collections module. So all the classes and functions and methods, they're very useful. And as I told you before, it is more advanced than some basic methods, as you saw in the examples and demonstrations. And it is a bit more helpful. Okay, so I hope you learned something new today about the collections modules and how you can use them. This module will actually help you a lot when you're doing more advanced Python projects. If you are stuck on this topic, I will put a link to a practice notebook where you can just download it and read it if you like. And also, if you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel. If you have any comments, please comment them down below. If you have any doubts, please comment them down below as well. If you have any suggestions, please comment them down below. So I guess that's the end of this video. Bye.